I bet a lot of us saw a movie or two this summer. I happened to see Disney Pixar's Inside Out. Who else has seen it? Most of us? Many of us, at least? Okay, so if you haven't seen it, I owe you an apology because I will do a little spoiling here. I won't spoil too much because seeing it is really worth it. It's worth going to see it.
And more than
Kids of all ages, 2 to 200 is worth the $8 or whatever a movie ticket costs here in Merced, or when it comes out on video, whichever. The movie is an animated feature in Disney's traditional model there, and it follows Riley, an 11-year-old girl, as she moves across the country and begins her life in a new city, in a new home, with her family. But the main character is not Riley. Don't for a second think that. The main characters are her feelings, her emotions, joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. So Inside Out takes us on a journey along with Riley, but really with joy and sadness, as their journey parallels Riley's to her new home. No, I won't spoil the entire movie, okay? I promise you I won't spoil the whole thing. But what you need to know for this to make sense, for my message here in this Devar Torah to make sense, what you need to know is that on their journey, joy and sadness come to realize that they absolutely need each other. Joy, at first, wants to go off on her own and run all of Riley's feelings and be the main star of the show. And for a while, that works for her. But eventually, she will come to realize that she needs her friend's sadness. She needs her friend and her partner's sadness because Riley's memories, like any one of ours, cannot be purely joyful and cannot be purely sad. Eventually, they need to mix those together. They need to find that place where within one single memory, both joy and sadness can be contained. It's a pretty common idea we come across, I think. This idea that without sadness, we wouldn't appreciate the joys in our life. And I think there's something to that. I think a moment like Yizkor certainly reminds us of that. But I was thinking about this idea in one hand, and then the other I was thinking about this thing we say to each other at times of loss. We say, "May their memory be a blessing." You've all heard that, I assume. We say to each other, "May their memory be a blessing." It's sort of an imprecise phrase, though, because our loved one who's passed has no more memories. We, though, absolutely do have memories of them. What we really mean to say is, may your memories of them be a blessing. May your memories of them bring you blessing. It's interesting that we say, may they bring you blessing, and not, may they bring you joy. We don't remind our loved ones who've just lost someone they love, we don't encourage them immediately to think of the joy. We wouldn't dare. Because we know that they have to acknowledge their grief first. They have to first embrace and confront the sadness they feel at their loss. And so often our first memories, when we think of one we've lost, are those sad, painful ones. We miss them. We see something that reminds us of them, or hear something, or smell something that reminds us of them. And all of a sudden our grief is fresh. It's as if we lost them yesterday when it's been years, or decades even. That's how I feel sometimes about my grandmother, Trudy. She would have turned 91 on September 6th, but it's been about 11 years since she passed. And I still miss her often. But when I was sitting this summer watching Inside Out, I couldn't help but smile and cry because she would have so loved that movie. And so watching that movie, for me, was a moment of remembering both with sadness and with joy. I was watching a movie teaching me that lesson and feeling it at the very same time and thinking about my grandmother, because some of my fondest memories of her are going to the movies or to a Broadway show or hearing her make silly old rhymes that make no sense. But those are the things that still to this day bring me joy when I think of her. And those are the moments where that joy and that sadness are inextricably bound together. I can't separate them. So when we say to one another, may their memory be a blessing, what I encourage us to remember is that we're not really saying, may it be a blessing. What we're really saying is, may your memories of them, may they contain both joy and sadness all in one breath. May that combination, that complexity of feeling that you have for your loved ones, may that bring you blessing and help you live your life in dedication of their memory. So this afternoon, for whomever you're remembering, may your memories of them truly bring you blessing.